What's up, everybody? It's your boy Adan Allende. We're here. Welcome to the Golden Lotus podcast. We have my man Sanjivana, Yogi Sanjivana. We're going to be talking about spirituality today. We're
Yeah.
going to dive into the power of cause and effect, how we can meditate, and how we can go deeper into a way to evolve and elevate ourselves spiritually, attain enlightenment, and eventually release ourselves and liberate ourselves from the wheel of samsara. So let's get to it.
Okay.
Go, Sanji. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
How are you today?
wonderful. I'm fantastic. Thank
Oh,
you. I'm so happy to be able to perform and sing and doing
mm,
wonderful things and helping people grow and influence them in their souls and in their hearts in a positive way through music. And of course, the golden lotus path of
uh-huh.
spiritual coaching is so gratifying to me.
Mhm,
So yeah, and I'd like to talk to you. As I said, we were going to talk about cause and effect.
mhm.
What is the law of cause and effect to you on a spiritual level?
Uh-huh. So we get to learn a lot of this about in our journey, and then it seems like a good solution for many things that people assume or proclaim, because whatever the ideology or there's something really happening also, it all can put into as cause and effect. So, for example, like say we are cooking something, right? Or preparing something,
Mm-hmm.
or the building we are staying in. So, like many causes make that building, no? Or like the food we are preparing, or something, no? Like anybody's preparing, like there are many causes. We say, like, okay, we did it, no? Or we made the house, or we did this, did that. But it's not just that. Now I took like cooking or preparing some food just as a simple example. So
Mm-hmm.
we say we cooked it, which is true, right? We cannot deny that, and we have to give credit to that person. But it's not only that. What about the ingredients? Maybe water or other things you use in there. No, the spices, the pepper, the salt. Where did they come? We didn't make those, right? The pots and the pans, and then the stove. A lot of things, even the oxygen. Many
Yeah.
things are involved there, right? How did the gas or electricity or anything what you're using or the firewood come? Then the trees are also involved. How did the trees
Mm-hmm.
there? Then the environment and everything is involved. So I remember, like, surely you know, like there was a very great teacher in Vietnam, and later he stayed in France, no, Tan. So he once took a small piece of paper and he said, the oceans, the stars, the mountains, everything is in this piece of paper. So we just see like piece of paper. How can that be, right? But it's true, right? They come from the trees. Then how does the trees come? No. So everything is
Yeah.
in all the seasons, the climates, no, the oceans, the stars, the skies, the universes, and everything. So we are like a huge collection. Every moment is a collection of massive causes. So it how to say, it brings up many solutions for many questions we have also. What happened?
Yeah.
Where we
And
go?
you.
How did we come here? What happens now? What
Mm-hmm.
So every moment, physicality, mentality, all these things, you can see like cause and effect plays a huge role.
And how do you feel that? I mean, when we're talking about astronomy, now that you're saying stars and everything is connected, I feel that there's a ripple effect, right? You drop a pebble into a
Mhm.
pond. It's amazing how cause and effect and karma could be so quick. We can, somebody could be walking, living on the street like a homeless man, give them $5, and then out of nowhere, somebody will just give you $5.
Mhm.
Or you could buy someone a drink, and then out of nowhere, somebody will give you a drink. So it's amazing how, like, literally what we do to
Mhm.
other people in this world is
Sure.
a boomerang, and that'll come directly back to us.
Mhm.
So for me, that's one of the most incredible examples of cause and effect.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful.
And tell me about samsara. Like, what are your views on our path on samsara, go spinning on the wheel, lifetime after lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
And what are your views? What are your views on the that final objective to immerse ourselves into the infinite and not come back to live on a physical plane?
Yeah, yeah. So this is well explained in ancient wisdom in many, many traditions and many places. So we can see, like, for example, just like in our life now, from birth and to death, if you take those two ends, there's a whole lot of things like aging, or even a child ages, right? And we see them growing, and they come to a very strong stage, and then slowly the decaying process happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aging process, and then within that also there are many things. Sickness can come, but I'm not telling everything is negative or anything, but there are happy moments and all. But there are some unavoidable situations we face also, right? And it's not all happy. uh, so this like a hamster wheel, it had been happening like at least they say like countless times. They only can give like examples. Even very powerful people or saints or enlightened beings, they could just give, if somebody approached them and asked them, they just could give like examples only. For example, like if they take one person's life's journey, and if they were like very psychic, like very powerful saints
Yeah.
who could recollect other people's past lives also. And
Right.
they would do like just maybe for resting for a short time, and maybe for eating if they took like very small breaks, and from morning till night if they checked on one person, and if they checked for 100 years, it says still this person will be having more past lives still. Oh, this is about one person, really.
Yeah.
So it is like even the forward journey is also as such. So it's like it's mentioned like there are, you cannot even see the roots, like it's so far, and it's happening. So there we can be born in many places, many existences, according to the good and the bad and all this. And the wholesome things can bring wholesome results. The unwholesome surely has to bring unwholesome results. So talking
Mm-hmm.
about like how to free the existence, if we connect the cause and effect, there are causes for this also. So some places it says like if you have a cartwheel and there are the connecting rods, right? And
Yeah.
if you try to slowly remove the rods or even one or two, the cartwheel starts breaking up. They are supported by these rods, no, that support the cartwheel. So
Yeah.
likewise, these causes are the reasons. For example, ignorance or craving. These are the
Yeah.
main reasons like this process continuously happens. Uh, So if we find, if there's a way like we can find a solution for ignorance, uh, it's actually called Vidya or science, the true science in ancient literature and all. So Vidya this was called, and this is opposite is called avidya. Huh? So,
Arija.
yeah, avidya and ignorance, because ignorance
Mm-hmm.
shows something that is not really there. That doesn't mean we have to deny all this because it doesn't stay. It's not forever. But we believe. For example, our lifespan, we say like, "Hey, this is me," no? But I was maybe a toddler at once, at some time, and maybe a preschool kid. Though then I was like university and all this, no, college and all this stuff, and then so the life journeys as such, we say like, here I am, uh, and I was there like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, like that. We talk about that, but we cannot show either it's memories of pictures or photographs or something or videos in modern day, maybe some certificates or something like that, even your birth certificate, right?
Mm-hmm.
As proof. But other than that, we don't have much proof to show. There's not a lineup of me or somebody like thousand of lineup of me standing to show that hey, that's me. but that also
Right.
there will be many changes, right? So if we can
Mm-hmm.
find a way, but it's very easy since we are working with mentality. If it was some big rock, like we had to go and use a nail hammer and a shickle or something and try
Mm-hmm.
to crack it up. But it's not the case. It's nothing physical. The physical body usually like we have to leave it behind every lifespan. But the mind is the one that is branching out. It sometimes it's mentioned as a leech even. You know how the leeches they go
Yeah,
from
yeah,
one
yeah.
place to another, right?
Right,
They
right, right.
have a foothold here, then they so incline to the other, and they release
Mm.
this one, right?
Yeah,
So likewise, we also like from lifespan to lifespan start moving. And but it's like though we talk like okay, person from some other place can be born in your place. Somebody who was there can be born in another place. We talk this in a conceptual reality, but
yeah,
it is like say this computer or something. Suddenly, like there's something wrong with it, or it goes blank. Huh? We quickly take a new computer, it could be different shape or size or anything, and really quickly plug it in, and this software and everything starts working again. So we talk about in a conceptual reality, okay, this person was who was we there are like no recollections of the past lives. Even little kids now are talking, right? Now before so they were talking, maybe it was ignored, right? So but there are more and more stories coming up of little children even talking about their past lives. And so we talk about this, but it's like a conceptual reality. But when the equation changes and it becomes one,
mm,
the distance, the place, and the duration and the time, these are concepts, right? We don't
yeah,
deny that, but in ultimate reality, it becomes this thing. If you turn it like this, it becomes one. So it actually happens almost like in the same place. Soon as it's
yeah.
done, it's like quickly we like in those racing cars, no, like they quickly fix the tires and put the fuel and do everything, right?
Right, right,
Like
right.
likewise, as if we quickly brought something, connected it, and it starts working. But this is like within a split second, or not even second, even faster than that. What we cannot
Yeah,
do here, we quickly start in another place. It's very interesting, eh?
yeah, yeah. And what
What
I've
are
been
your ideas
saying,
about it?
what are my ideas about it? I think that something that caught my attention when you were talking about the body and the
Mhm.
physicality
Sure.
is, you know, renouncing yourself. I think so many spiritual practices and religions have developed the concept of, either fasting or celibacy or getting away from material possessions like Siddhartha did.
Mm.
I think that it is a challenge in this physical world to be able to, you say like, oh, I'm not gonna have sex, like, oh, like, I'm not gonna, get involved, I'm just gonna focus on my spirituality. I think it all depends on the country that you're living to see what's doable. If you're in India or Dharmasala or Tibet, not Tibet as much now because of the Chinese invasion, but if you're in the Himalayas in some way, go with the yogis and go to a cave, go meditate. I mean, that'd be a really cool experience to do that, and then come back down to the city, come back down to the Western world to share what I learned with the yogis. I think that we could learn, like us Westerners could definitely learn from the Eastern yogis and gurus and monks on how to really focus on the divine, right? Because when you're focusing on the divine, there's somewhat of a disconnect, not disconnect. There's somewhat of a immersion. You're connecting to source. It's coming down through your crown chakra and then the intuition, communication, heart, mind, love, sacral,
Mhm.
and physical. So yeah, I think it's something that could be looked into. As far as fasting, it's good for you. now science
Mhm.
has revealed that fasting,
Fasting.
when you're not eating, at least if it's intermittent fasting, when you're not eating, your body, instead of digesting, it's targeting inflammation, it's targeting cells that need
Mhm.
healing. So I mean, so many people, my godfather from Bali in Ubud, Amir Rafiq, he's
Mhm.
Javanese.
Mhm.
He does, I think he does like a month of fasting. I'm like,
Fasting.
wow,
Wow.
it's incredible how he does that.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to do that. But there it is. That's an example of the spiritual level of somebody to renounce the physical pleasures. And I'm not saying that hedonism is bad, but my conception is that when a person is not facing what's going on in their heart and they're running away from their reality,
Mhm.
running away from reality into the hedonism and into the physical things. For example, me, I would prefer not to have sex with the wrong women,
Mhm.
stay in my own place,
Mhm.
and not only wait, but be patient, you know, flirt, get to know girls, but be patient when I find the right woman. For her to come into my life, I would
Mhm.
rather wait instead of being all promiscuous and going out. Like, I would rather have sex with one woman in a very, very faithful way
Mhm.
than going wild. And in a way, that is some sort of celibacy. It's
Mhm.
pulling back on that hedonism and going to the extreme.
Mhm.
So I do have my form of spirituality and renouncing from the pleasures. But when you go to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting,
Mhm.
what I learned, I was a facilitator at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and what I learned was that when you are going to help somebody break away from an addiction, a negative habit, it's to to quit and to break an addiction, you have to focus on when you break it, it's you want to replace it with something that's better
Right.
than that.
Mhm.
So for me, what was better than drinking and getting drunk with my friends?
Mhm.
What was better was dancing.
Mhm.
What was better was socializing, flirting with women.
Mhm.
What was better was singing
Mhm.
and knowing that I was doing it in control and doing it good, and driving, driving for my friends, knowing what's better is having that feeling within my heart that I know that I am helping my friends, helping the people in my life.
Mhm. Mhm.
So those are my views on the physicality.
Good.
And then I also wanted to talk about how there's somewhat of a clinging, right? When somebody's trying to go into that spiritual place, there is a clinging on to the physical reality, almost like even when we're, you know, people that are gonna die. And there have been so many near death experiences, right?
Yes.
Near death experiences, and we have the people that say, "Yeah, I was in the tunnel, I was on the train, I saw I saw light, I saw loved ones, I went into the other dimension." These near death experiences. Tell me a little bit about those.
Uh-huh. So, talking about the clinging, we what we know from small days is our body, right? From small days, it's our
Mhm.
body. So that's why we are so easily we are attached as well as clinging towards it. Because there's no place else to like hold on. No, there are others later on. But
Yeah.
the maybe the final or the first place as well as the last place we can hold on or try to hold on is our body. So we
Hmm.
try to when we maintain from small days, no. From the time we are able to do something, we clean it. We know is sometimes it says like not in a negative way, but just as example, as if we are looking after somebody who is elderly or sick, right? But we have to do it for
Yeah.
ourselves, feeding it or cleaning
Mhm.
it, no, do brushing, all these things, as if we are doing to another person, no. So the thing is, like even in the first stage of enlightenment, this is the biggest barrier, one of the biggest barriers we are set free of. So you see, like in when you go more and more, people like even who everybody they admire themselves, no. Even artists sometimes, I have seen like even statues, just see the comparison with the artist or the sculpture, and the features are quite similar most of this time. The facial and all like are quite similar. Maybe in some occasion there can be differentiations, but they have this image of themselves, right? And upon that they start drawing or like creating, no? So
Mm-hmm.
so this seems the last place. So that's why we try to grab hold of it. But the thing is, there's a nice example. Say I take a torch, or a torch, or with fire, or even is a modern day one, and I start moving it round and round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll see like a circle, right? If I move it fast, if say I have a torch or something, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And or a fire torch, and I start moving it, we'll see like a fire circle or a light circle, right? If I move it very fast, right? But it's
Yeah.
place to place, place to place, place to place, right? The hand
Mm-hmm.
movements were even if I have a torch, right? So likewise, from these sensory doors, we are always notified. This is your shoulder, head. From every place, we get the signals, like you are turning a torch. Huh?
Yeah.
And then that's why we feel like, okay, like I'm here. And we never even cannot see our faces, right? Either from a mirror or modern day stuff like this. Otherwise, we cannot see our own face, no? We don't see, we
Yeah.
can see all our other parts, but not our face. So we had to really go to maybe a bowl of water, or some water, some reflective surface, or
Right. That was the mirror back in the day.
yeah, yeah, sure. And then now we have these people use even the camera of the mobile or just to check, no, or
To
some
check them.
reflective surface just to see, and then otherwise we don't see. Uh, So likewise, we catch these moments and put them together, and we say, "Okay, I'm here." But that's why we really get upset, like we when we feel faintish or something happens, or like some dizziness or something, we panic.
Yeah.
In a in a normal time also. In the death
Mm-hmm.
moment, it's very much more tougher. Huh? So there, in some places, it's called the six senses. Huh? The
Yeah.
five sense doors are the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. And the sixth sense, some places it's mentioned as the third eye, some place at the heart base, but as the sixth sense. Huh? So there is. So that's why some people see their own surgery and everything, while they as if they're watching their own surgery. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it happens, no, and I've spoken to many
Yeah.
people, some people, sorry, like who went to very uh, tough situations, even bomb explosions. Huh? And
Mm-hmm.
I just asked, no, like after he was uh, he was cured and everything, huh? And he said that the very moment he saw like everything as if he was on one of the rafters in that place. He was just explaining, and there was like a movement, no, like a slight movement, and he saw like other people panicking, and then there was like smoke, and everybody, he saw his own body even, and they were trying to like bring him back to life.
Right.
Yeah, he told me like it was so painful when they tried to do that. And I asked like how it felt, no, he said like if you could take a fly, like a small insect, and squash him between two symbols. The symbol they played,
Uh-huh.
no, like that. It's
Right.
just example, not a good thing. So like that, he felt like two big, massive, like doors or walls of steel coming and clashing, and he felt so
Yeah.
much pain. And then he like got like he became awake in his body. So
Wow.
yeah,
And he came back.
yeah, he came back with that pain itself. So,
Wow.
yeah, this was exactly what he told me. So many people, I also actually died almost like two times. So,
Really?
yeah, yeah, one time in a cave and one time down a rock. And yeah, yeah, but not very high, but I hit the head and I was like unconscious for some time. But some in one place, like I became very sick, and luckily they found me inside a cave. And the energy was just going and coming, going and coming. But when I fell down, I actually went to do some good stuff, good thing for some people. And it was, we were very tired. We were working from all morning, and I went to do like the final things there. No, there were some twigs or some sharp things, like people. It was like a pathway for them to come, and I went to clear that, and my hand hit, and it became hurt, and there was like blood coming, and then I felt very weak, no, but still I gathered all the tools and all, and I started coming up. It was not very high, yeah, but then suddenly I just lost it, and to see like the axe and all had like shaved, like bruised against my like leg and all, but at that time I didn't feel anything. I felt very comfortable, and it was the other people are joking with me. I felt like I was in a bed of. I'm not making things up. It was like maybe because I went to do something good, no, and
Yeah.
I felt like it was like a bed of cotton wool or something. And
Mm.
later, when they slowly brought me up and they walked me, all those wounds and everything were fading. But at that time, I thought, my goodness, if I went, I would have been gone to a good place. It was very clear. I was on a rock, right? And bleeding and all.
Mhm.
But I felt like very comfortable, no? As if I was on a cloud or like a bed of cotton wool or something. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, uh, we incline towards this. So in the first stage of enlightenment, also they say it goes more deeper. Uh, there are called five aggregates. One is the physicality, but not the physicality we are talking of. It's like the elements. Uh, so that physicality, like our thumb, we say like I am the physicality. Physicality is me. Inside physicality is I. Inside me is physicality. See, like this is what we say, right? Inside me is physicality. Or when you talk as physicality, we say, okay, I am in that, right? I'm in the world, or I'm in. So, not only that, I am physicality, physicality is in me. Yeah, inside me is physicality, and inside physical. And just like that, the other four are related to the mind. One is the sensation factor. Every time we get a sensation, it could be pleasant, unpleasant, or even neutral. We get a
Mm.
sensation. No, we cannot avoid that. So then what happens? We say, I am the sensation. Sensation is me. I feel so happy. I feel wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel so low. I feel so bad. No? And then inside, where does it happen? We say it comes from the heart or it comes from inside. Oh, I feel
Yeah.
like I'm inside the sensation. I'm so caught up in it. No? And then it's
Mhm.
perception. Perception, what we recognize, all this stuff. Everything, every spot, every detail, everything comes under the past, what it assume of future, how we recognize each other now, all comes under
Mhm.
perception. Uh, Even the experiences, we can have experience. Say, as a kid, we did something naughty or something, maybe got a bit of thing from our parents, and and we still remember it, no? And we sometimes could feel it even. If you were like
Mhm.
kind of like punished or something, you can feel it, no? Or the fear you
Yeah.
had at that time. But it was maybe many years ago, right? Uh, so
Right.
that perception can bring that, but it's not true. Huh? So
Mhm.
likewise, even pleasant experiences. That's why the food and all we remember. The mental experiences we remember. Even in meditation, we remember. And this all through
Yeah.
perception. So we say perception is I am perception. Inside me, where does it come? We say from inside the perception comes. Huh? And then inside perception is me. That's like, then there's called formation. All these gatherings of things like cause and effects, what you mentioned before. Everything.
Right.
So we say I am formation. Formation is me. Inside me is the formation. Inside formation is me. And most of all, the last one is consciousness. All these minds, consciousness. So we say I am the consciousness. Consciousness is me. Inside me is the consciousness. Inside consciousness is me. So this is like 4 times 5 is 20. So we think of the outer layers, you, me, or somebody else, or celebrities, or all these things, as populations, or specific countries and all. But it's not that. This is a process that everybody gets caught up in. That's why everybody can be free also from that. Others, a particular group only can be free, right?
Yeah.
It's not the case, and it cannot be solved like that even. If That's why we go to the depths of things and try to find a solution, or the solution is already there, and we try to be free from that. But that doesn't make you kind of like numb, or like how to say, like a robot or something. You don't have to act artificial or anything. The unnecessary part is gone. That's it.
Right.
What are your ideas about it?
I mean, I wanted to know, what is consciousness? What are your idea? What is your definition of consciousness?
Uh, in consciousness, it is said like
No, of consciousness. Like, what is your definition of consciousness?
consciousness is the mind. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So we all living beings have a mind. It's a bit different from what the trees are going through. Trees are also very sensitive, but that doesn't mean they have a mind. Some used to believe, and some people still believe.
Mm-hmm.
They are alive. I that totally agree, and they feel also. Uh, and they are receptive, and they know they communicate in some way. That also happens when the
Mm-hmm.
locusts are coming, like kilometers away. Some trees they started shedding their leaves, right? uh,
Right.
so they know, and even if you put a small touch, some like they slowly uh, shrink, right? So even
Right.
there are ones that can capture animals even, no?
Mm-hmm.
So likewise, they have their own way, but usually, like they say, animated and non-animated. Like humans, animals, and all are specifically, we see the process of
Yeah.
a tree. The process seems similar, but it doesn't say a tree reincarnated in some place. No, it's always said as a being reincarnated or was born again. Eh? So the thing is, the consciousness arises all from these five sense doors, the bases, uh,
Yeah.
and then the heart base, or the sixth sense. So it is mentioned, if you take a box of matches and the matchstick, and if you strike them together,
Yeah.
you see the flame coming up, right?
Right.
So we come back again to cause and effect. So it's like the flame we get on the matchstick. So the
Yeah.
surface of the matchbox is like the sensory doors or the faculty. And for example, if the eye faculty means like the color object, like the matchstick, then when they
Yeah.
touch together, the flame arises. That is like the consciousness, the eye consciousness. Same like
Mm-hmm.
the ear, nose, tongue, body. But we don't hear from our eyes. We don't smell from our mouth. They have their specific way, like the microphones we use, like the camera we use. They have their specific purpose, right? Uh,
Right.
So likewise, we also, this is our kind of like the microphone. This is our camera.
Right.
But the processing data and all happens like in within. Like we take from these devices, and maybe the computer does the rest, right? Uh, so like,
Yeah. And
uh-huh.
it's almost like AI, right? Now that we're in an age of artificial intelligence, it's a supercomputer. The person that reads a bunch of books, the person that's an intellectual, the person that meditates, the person that does the inner work
Mhm.
is going to prompt to a level that other people aren't at that level. So if you have a state of consciousness that's up here, using AI to prompt is completely unlimited, and it can go all the way up to the sky.
Mhm.
So I think that inner work is very important. And consciousness to me is
Aware. Uh-huh.
to be aware of yourself, to be conscious of your actions. I regularly check in with myself. How am I feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Am I angry? Am I sad? Am I excited?
Mm-hmm.
How can I make the my state
Mm-hmm.
now? How can I achieve and attain the mental, spiritual, and physical state that I want
Mm-hmm.
in this moment? So you take what you have, what life is giving you, what life is causing in you, and then you change yourself. Because for many years, I would try to change what was happening around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be persuading and persuading and persuading. Most of the time it was effective, but then I realized, I say, wait a minute. Why am I trying to change everything around me? Why don't I change?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I change? And instead of pushing that to do something, I just shift, I pivot, and then I do something that benefits me, and that's it. We must adapt. My grandfather, my grandfather used to say, I mean, this is like science, but he used to say, he who can adapt will survive. And that is Charles Darwin. That is survival of the fittest. That is true. It's an adage that is a perennial classic adage that is very relevant to nowadays.
And sometimes they say, "Be the change you want," no?
Exactly. Be the change you
Uh,
want to see in the world. That's
yeah,
like a
exactly.
great quote. Great quote.
Uh-huh.
And when I was talking to you last time, we were talking about the present moment, and then something about like the body with the glass in the water that was kind of like murky or something like that, that you wanted to like, you want the water to calm down. Tell me about that metaphor.
Uh-huh. So we talked about the glass with some water, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the glass is like our body, which can be fragile at times also, no? So
Mm.
we have to be very cautious even. Uh, and then the water is like the mind. It's even more fragile. Fragile means it can become very unstable very quickly. Sometimes we can look tough and everything, but the mind can be wobbly, right? It can happen.
Mm.
So likewise, so we took that example just to show, like even in meditation, what we are trying to do is we try to let it happen, bring it to the natural state. For example, if you want to make the water in the glass still, the best solution will be, we can do a lot of things. We can say, please, can you, no? Or we can tap on the glass, do all these things. But the easiest and the most simplest method is just place it on a table, sit back, relax, and maybe have a look at it, and just let it settle down. So
Mm.
likewise, the water can be boiled, it can be cooled or even solidified. But actually, it comes to its natural state. Even if you try to mix some cement, if the water is more, it separates, right? It really
Yeah.
doesn't like get so. It doesn't mix, no. So likewise, whatever happens, it can be in anger or any kind of things like that are unpleasant, but still it clears again. Huh? So the stir up and everything. But more we try to fiddle with it, what happens is it starts stirring. So even in meditation, and all if you see some very nice feelings or like pleasant sensations or experiences, if you say like, "Wow, what was that?" Then the water starts stirring up again. Huh? Then it's like you try to put a tap on it, or is it calm now? What really happened there? Then it makes more ripples again. Huh? But you
Yeah.
can let it sit and like come to its natural state. So even our body as well as the mind, maybe the elements of it, there is a balance product, like the chakras even, huh? So
Mm.
mind also is like that. If we let the natural state happen, that's why we can practice with very simple things like even the breath, the natural breath. Huh? It
What's a good breathing exercise? How do you consciously breathe in meditation? In through the nose, out through the nose, or through the mouth, or how do you do it?
There are many methods and ways like pranayama and all. They have a specific way of like using intentional breath. There are meditation
Mm.
methods that they continuously like do inhale, exhale on purposely for long
Mm.
time durations. But the simplest method is like you sit back, relax, and then you observe the natural breath. The natural breath.
Just observing it without forcing it.
Yeah, yeah, just the natural breath. It can be long at times, it can be short at times, it can come from one nostril, come from the other. It can be warm, it can be cold. There for many
That's
reasons.
cool.
Yeah, but we have to just relax. But it seems the most difficult to do with our monkey mind
Yeah.
and everything. the most simplest
You
and the
start
uncomplicated.
thinking
Yeah, exactly. Because we are so used to like doing something. No,
the
we have
stimulation, the phone, the everything,
sure, sure.
the
So
rush.
we also had to learn it the hard way. So we try to do all I like this, I like that, and later you understand like the most simplest version is the one that really works. First you want I like this cushion, I like to this place, I like this place, I want to have this, I like the morning time more. You can have your like how to say like preferences, but later it's just putting your mind to the breath. So when you go to some teachers, they just show you the nose, and you're like, "Come on, no, like, don't you even say something?" But they just show you the nose. That's it. But that is actually the real process, no? Because, for example, when we are watching the ocean or waves on the water, no, or like some flowing water, even the
Yeah.
rain, even like the sky, uh,
Mm,
it has a very soothing process, right? Because it's natural.
right.
So likewise, this source is so simple, yet it happens all the time, like the ocean, like the sky. Huh?
Hmm.
What happens is we can relax in it, and we can go much, much more
Right.
deeper even. Eh? It's fascinating what a breath can do.
Absolutely. We are our breath.
Exactly.
We are. A wise man once said that we are our breath. We are that inhalation because from the breath comes the word. As we breathe, as we whisper, as we utter our feelings and our thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
that is the reality that we're creating. Sacred text says the Om.
Mm-hmm.
From the Om, the universe was born.
Mm-hmm.
So we must speak what we want to create. It's very important. What's the name of the Japanese doctor Makumoto
Sorry,
that did the experiment of the water, where
cannot
he would
remember
say he
now.
got
Sorry,
two
sorry.
glasses of water. Listen to this.
Uh-huh.
He had two groups.
Uh-huh.
The experimental group would say, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Mhm.
Or they're both experimental groups. And then the other one would say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you into the water.
Water.
And then they would freeze the water.
Water.
Uh, and when they would observe the crystals of the water that said I love you was beautiful designs,
Mm-hmm.
delineated snowflakes. And then the one that they said I hate you was like ugly, twisted, just out of order. And people say like, oh, they swear, they say, cuss words, or I hate you, or you douchebag, or whatever. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
cuss,
Yeah,
but piece of crap, whatever. And
yeah.
they're not just words. People take words very lightly. They're not just words.
Mm,
They are vibration.
sure, sure.
The words that we speak create our reality.
Mm. So true. Like they have tried this on plants, and I remember you told last time was about plants and how the
Hmm.
plants they were like telling all these nice things. They'll.
Yeah, my mom, the plant.
Uh-huh. Please, please. Yeah,
Mhm.
tell us about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My mom is not a professional botanist, but her she has a passion for botany
Mm-hmm.
and plants and growing trees. So we have a plant outside. It's more of a tree. It's called the night blooming jasmine.
Oh, uh-huh.
And the night blooming jasmine, at nighttime, it releases a beautiful aroma of it's an aroma of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
In the daytime, no. So what happens is that the trees, like she'll get like trees or plants that are completely done, not completely done, but there's hope that they will rise again.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll water it. She'll talk to it. She'll kiss it. She'll say, I love you. You're so beautiful. Come on.
Uh-huh.
You're growing so lovely. And the plants literally respond to what she's saying and they grow to be beautiful.
Wow. Uh-huh.
How lovely is that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
So
I have,
beautiful.
sorry, yeah. I have heard like one guy going to a plant which has thorns, And he used to go every day and say like, Why do you need thorns? No, I'm here. I'm here to protect you. Don't worry." And he would touch
Oh
the
wow.
plant, and you know what? The plant actually shed those thorns. Really? Can you believe it? Yeah. So yeah, it's so like sensitive, and it can feel, no?
I'm gonna connect to a tree today.
That's why people go and hug trees, no? There are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, tree
That's
hugging.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. And they are wonderful. No, even when you hear the sound of somebody cutting a tree, it's very hurting. And not, no, we need,
It
but what to
feels.
do?
They feel.
Uh, but
They
that's why
absolutely
ancient
feel.
people were so particular. No, they would, for their very most needed things, they just took a tree, but they even planted
Hmm.
like 10 more, and they would do rituals and all to thank everybody and everything. Then only they would take that wood or tree, no?
Yeah.
Like now, like all this is now just industrialized, right?
Unfortunately, but it is what it is.
What to do?
Because there's souls in the plants. There are souls.
Mm,
Like you and I have a soul, but it's on a lower level of the wheel of samsara,
mhm,
and eventually it'll come up, animal, human being, right? Because at the top of samsara, there's somewhat of a like a purity
mhm.
and a realization. But as samsara goes down, there's like an involution, and it goes down, it goes down, goes down, and then suddenly, and when it gets to 6 o'clock, then it starts evolution, and it starts going up, right?
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Or
like
what's the concept of that? Do you understand?
yeah, I understand what you say there. So there are
Hmm.
many theories, many people see him from different angles. So um, from what I experienced, because you can check with meditation your past lives and all, right? So I'm
Yeah.
just telling my experience. I don't want to like offend nobody or anything.
No, 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 no
Uh,
offense.
so
Just say what you feel.
yeah, just like this is actually not even my opinion or anything. So I would not believe even if it was in a book or somebody told me. So you are asked
Mm.
to check your past life, and there are specific methods, and you have to do it like hundreds of times to get the like
Yeah.
see whether if you reach the same result. And
Mm.
like so it was life forms. Life forms. The very next one, the next one, next one, next one, next one, and it goes on. And there were many people practicing this, no, not only me. And you hear them because they come and talk to the teacher, and we also go. And I was like a translator, so I heard from the people like who I was translating also their experiences. Then I had my own, and there were people from all over the world there, from your part of the world, the Asians, no, you name it, like they were from all parts of the world. Huh? So we were also there, and we could hear. So it was like similar experiences. Maybe the way they tell it is good. There can be different slight differentiations. Maybe the examples they say, but the basic is the same. Then everybody talks about life forms, like what they were, some even like deities, and some people humans in the past lives. Some even say like they were animals. So it goes on, and there are specific ways of checking this also.
Like Akashic records or hypnotic regressions.
That also can be used. That also we can
Yeah.
do it by ourselves even. One,
How would you what
yeah.
kind of meditation would you suggest to be able to see your past lives?
There we have to like really put into our practice. And
Mm.
usually there can be from concentration also, some people see glimpses of their past lives through concentration.
Mm.
When you like remove a lot of things, that's why sometimes some medications, also some plants like Yuashkara and all, they bring glimpses, no, of the past.
What's it called?
Yuashkara, right? Like
Yushkar?
no, no, sorry, what people go to like the South American countries and they have this
Ah, like peyote or ayahuasca.
ayahuasca. Yeah, ayahuasca. Yeah.
Ayahuasca,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, my pronunciation. So
Yeah.
then, when the mind is cleared, then they have glimpses of past lives. And this can happen sometimes like when children, they are innocent, no? So their minds are much more clear than the adults, so that's why they can recollect some of the children. Or some
Right, because they're
people,
already in a place of purity.
yeah, exactly. Until they like become adults and all. So they keep telling about it for some age, some of them, no? And then
Yeah,
some people can have a glimpse, maybe in some big situation of even like kind of like shock. Or some people in when they are anesthetized in operation, then the five sense doors and all, they are freed from that, and they have a bit of clearing, and they can sometimes talk about. But if you do it intentionally, these are not like you are really doing it intentionally, right? Uh,
yeah,
but concentration we can do intentionally by practices. And then there are like called the jhana or dhyana, very powerful states of mind which can be built up. So there's like up to the eight jhana. After you go to the eighth jhana, what you can do is after the first process, the other ones are quicker. Huh? Usually, the first
right.
into the first stage of jhana,
It's like your layer, and then you go to the next level,
yeah,
and
because
it
there
gets
are like
easier and
specific
easier.
factors, specific experiences. For example, there are called five jhanic factors. When you go to
Mm,
the second jhana, two of them shred. Huh?
okay,
It's like a rocket going up, and this slowly the external parts are reducing.
you're releasing, you're letting go.
And then you really come to those stages. You can, and there are ways of checking that also. It doesn't like you really know this is happening. And then likewise, you go up to the eighth jhana, and from that, using as a base, you can specialize in like recollecting your past lives. But that also, if you had practice in your previous lives and all, it's much easier for those kind of people. Oh, there's
Wow.
another way you can track, like we were talking, like physicality and mentality, like the software of this computer uh,
Yeah.
and the hardware, right? So if the
Right.
hardware was the elements, and say like the software was like the zeros and ones, it's like our mind. It doesn't show anything, like people or anything, but the mind can recognize it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what you do is you slowly, with the concentration and mindfulness, you slowly backtrack from, like we remember the closest things, right? Like 5 minutes
Right.
ago. So what you do is you check, like you take it there and check again and again. Is it similar? Before that, you learn how to check your physicality as well as mentality. These are called like vipassana and all knowledges. Very powerful insights actually. Huh?
Yeah.
Then what you do is you slowly backtrack along that path like 10 minutes ago, 15, 30, 1 hour, 2 hour.
Yeah. Tonight I could do it. Tonight before going to bed, I could just think like, oh, what did I did? What did I do at midday? What did I do yesterday?
It's possible, yeah, it's possible.
And
And
there you're
but we slowly
exercising that.
go. There was a youngster I remember. He's like what he saw and all was very powerful than most of us. And even in his like tiny times, he was like in his 20s at that time, and just 20, I think 20 plus. And he called his mom and asked like, "Mom, can you remember I was wearing a green suit when I took my first steps, and I fell down." And the mother was stunned. Like she asked, "How do you even remember?" No, he said like, specifically, I took like two steps and I fell down. Can you remember?
Yeah.
But he had lot of like visions and like lot of very clearly. But some you can even go to the stage of your when you were in your mother's womb, and then slowly
You
cross over
feel
to
it.
the next life. Then from there you slowly move ahead just like, but it becomes faster and faster. But you have to
Mm-hmm.
like do it consistently, and if the same results occurs many times, then you can be sure about it. We don't just randomly say, "Oh, I think as such," or "I just saw like a image that came and went, and I believe like I was a such and such," because this youngster believed like he was some yogi or some powerful person in his uh, recent life, no, recent past life. But it was the total opposite, and he was actually hiding for a couple of days. Really? He was thinking like he would be some powerful saint or somebody in the Himalayas or something. He was wishing because he was like fully energetic and everything. He was a very good person, no? and
Hmm.
he was wishing like but that was not the outcome he saw. Uh, and it was a person who had barely meditated and had children and all these things, so he felt kind of like it was not his expectation. So it's not like what we expect. We would like to be some super person who had helped a lot of people and all, but it was not the case. So
Right.
so you can do it like in those ways also. It's possible to check your past lives.
Nice. Another one that I wanted to talk about was betrayal. How do
Betrayal.
you how do you handle somebody that lied to you or that hurt you? Like what's your what's your views on being compassionate, empathic, and forgiving in the midst of bad people in your life or a bad person in your life?
Uh-huh. So yeah, I know it's tough and it's easier said than done. Huh?
Hmm.
But if mindfulness plays there, we can do a lot of things. So the thing is, it's action. It's action done verbally, and it's very harmful.
Yeah.
So actually, the person who is doing that act is already penalized. They have their karma and everything, but we take it in. We become angry, upset, and all. We build our own karma for that, which is not positive. Huh? And we can be tricked, and all this
Right.
also can happen. And it can be our own past karma also. If you put it into the karma dustbin, you can like very easy to like, okay, this is my karma. This that is your karma. This is my karma. I ended mine, and now it's for you. But I have nothing to do with it. Huh? If you know. But it says like if you're fooled once, it's their fault. If you're fooled couple of times, it's our fault, right?
It's our fault. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. If it keeps on
Shame
happening,
on
then
you.
we have to
Shame
be,
on me.
yeah, please. Yeah, yeah. So then we have to be very mindful and like wise. Then if it keeps on happening, we have to say, come on, no, this is not right. Uh, and
Yeah.
but the idea is to keep our cool and calm and everything, if possible. That stands up more than aggression and everything, if possible. And then, if we can build no more karma, and if we can use something in a good aspect, like even loving kindness or anything, may you see the truth someday, or even if some bad karma is happening to you, I wish it
Yeah.
would not, but we cannot stop it, right? But I don't wish so. So we
Right.
clear our side. So there's lot of forgivances that happens there. So we try to clear our side because we cannot be responsible for their karma. But what we do is we take it in and we build our own karma or karma.
Right.
So it's unnecessary. We already suffered once, and again here we are building new karma to suffer again. While that
Right.
person maybe like doesn't care now, but he or she had already built their own karma.
And I have a question because people say that if the people that you hurt in a past life, that soul is going to come into this life and hurt you. Is that true?
It can be. It can be. I was speaking to a person also today, and yeah, like there are some people. It was a father. We don't know. Other people who are listening to this, they don't know who it is even. No. So this
Hmm.
father left them when they were small. Then he came back, and from the day he came back, he has been like a menace. Menace. Like and his son's life also. He's like destroying it now. He made
Yeah.
his son's life. He made like his family. Son was married and having a child and all. This guy came up suddenly out of nowhere, the father, and who was like missing for decades, right? And now he has the son in his 20s plus, and now he has a child and everything. Now he's like a wreck, the son. He has no place, proper place to stay. His wife left him and he's like filing for divorce. They have a child and everything, and still the father is getting involved and making a big huge mess. So yeah, there are
Wow.
some instances like some people they come into your life, which could be like your past enemies even, but we don't know, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so but it can happen if it consistently happening again and again and again, like this instance, right? It's clear to see, he's not trying to do any good. uh, so And then what happens is like, but there is another thing. There are so many people doing the similar kind of karma. For example, killing animals or stealing. In the world, within this time, how many people might be doing this, right? For some reason, or stealing.
Yeah.
There are millions of people, at least like 100 people are doing it, no? At least,
Right.
in some sense, right? Maybe just a kid snatching from their parents' wallet or something, but it's still stealing, right?
Any form of stealing.
Yeah, uh, so there could be thousands. And in samsara, we were talking about countless lives, right? So there can be
Yeah.
like millions of people who had done the same kind of. So they come up, and even if we like don't know these people, randomly they can come on the street or something and snatch something from us, maybe a pickpocket, or you just
Yeah.
bag or something near the airport or someplace. Somebody comes and snatches that, and you don't know even why or who, and you cannot even find. It was not somebody whom you knew even. Use a random
Yeah.
passerby, just snatches the bag and runs away. Uh, and there are some people, like even if they leave their stuff just open. I'll tell you a story. I was also in a volunteer place in a specific country. So there's
Yeah.
a boarding house, and we used to stay there with the not bunk beds, actually separate beds. And one guy used to leave his camera, laptop, everything in the same location. Nothing happens. Nobody takes it. There was another guy who was putting his like earpods and listening to music and fallen asleep. When he woke up, only the earpods are there. Somebody came in the night from outside, cut his earpods, huh? And really those the wired ones, and took the device away. So
That's
you have to be
crazy.
like really sneaky to do that, right? But
Very
in the
sneaky.
same place, that guy has all his stuff on the bed. Nobody touches it. So how?
Yeah.
So that is like a bigger deal, right, for the robber.
Of
Uh,
course.
But he didn't want to take that for some reason. Or he didn't see
Hmm.
it, or something like some good thing happened. Like he missed it. But the person who was like few feet away was that he was, come on, this is like you can even feel it, no? If somebody's like meddling with something close to your ear and all. But
Yeah.
so in some countries they are even ashamed to say when a robbery or something happens. They quickly say, "Oh, I have done it in the past." That's why so they are ashamed to talk about it because like they say they quickly connect it to their past karma. And I have done the same thing in my past life, so here I'm getting the results of it, and it comes in
Many lives of
multiplications.
reincarnation to get to where you are right now.
Yeah, and it comes in multiplications. Like if you plant a seed of grass, when the tree or when the plant comes, it doesn't bring another single seed, right? It brings a lot.
Right.
Likewise, wheat or paddy or rice. It was when you plant one seed, the plant comes and there are many seeds, right?
True.
So likewise, the bad also brings multiplications. Good also is like that. It also brings multiplications, not
Nice.
just one.
Very cool.
So it follows wherever we go. Eh?
Yeah. I also wanted to share the experience when your guru was in the cave and then somebody came up and said like, "Oh, I don't believe in reincarnation." Like
You
how did he respond to that sort of uh situation to the man? What did he say?
yeah. So there was like he was a good person and meditating very well, the teacher.
Hmm.
And there was a person who came to visit, and he said like the person said by himself, no, you know what? I don't believe in past lives. Uh, so the teacher asked like, why do you not believe? He said because I don't remember. And then the teacher asked like very casually, like, do you remember the time where you were in your mother's womb? He said, no. Nobody remembers usually, right? And then the teacher asked, like, does it mean that you were not there? So likewise,
Incredibly.
yeah.
I love that. It's a very humorous way of approaching it. And it's
Mm,
also like if you get like the Dalai Lama, like he has such a nonchalant, just like good
mm,
sense of humor. Really, I've been watching this documentary. It's not a documentary, it was like a series, like a little mini
mm,
series on Netflix called Secrets of it's Living to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones of the
mm.
World.
Wow.
And the first episode was a woman who was like 101 years old in Okinawa, Japan.
Mm,
And this American man says, "Okay, like, what's your philosophy? Like, how do you live until you're like over 100 years old, centenarian?" And basically, what she said was, "Don't worry, don't get angry, don't fight with people,
mm,
just let it flow, let it flow.
mhm,
Just release, don't react in a negative way. Something bad
mhm,
happens, okay, fine, we'll solve it. Or no, you did this and did that. And it's like,
mhm,
okay, it's fine. Just release it."
mhm. Wow.
So I think that that attitude is the best way for us to
Mhm,
look at the adversities and strife of life. And life is rife with suffering. And, you know, many of the great religions say that life is suffering: Buddhism, Catholicism, Christianity.
mhm,
But I think that there's something that should be emphasized, which is yes, life is suffering, life is replete with suffering, but you have the capacity
mhm.
to go through it,
Sure, sure, sure.
to overcome it, to rise above like the phoenix. When you fall, we all fall. We must get up, learn from our experiences, grow, evolve. I think that we're on this spiritual experience. We're on a spiritual, it's like the university degree of spirituality.
Mhm,
Every single lifetime is a course that we have to take to be able to graduate.
mhm.
And eventually we graduate. And I think that every single experience in this lifetime is for us to take that as an opportunity to grow spiritually.
Yeah, yeah. Once I remember one person told me, so I'll just pick this paper and show her. So
Mm,
it's very, what you say is so true. So he just took a piece of paper and said, like, look at this, no? And okay, like if I take, say, this is a blank piece of paper, there's some things in there, but don't worry. Yeah? So say, like, one end is happiness. Uh, say
mm.
one end, you write happiness here.
One end is happiness, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then one end is like, say, sadness or suffering.
Sadness or
Okay.
suffering.
Uh, so he just took like a piece of stick and he showed me, like he asked, like, okay, this is suffering, this is happiness, no?
Yeah,
Happiness, peace, you name it, anything. And then what he asked, like, we are usually pushing towards happiness, right? We want to push towards happiness.
of course, of course.
Then he asked, actually, by that, what area multiplies, right? Which is true, right?
Hmm.
If you could
Yeah,
push the bar and we are seeking happiness and we slowly try to reach happiness.
it
But
reaches the happiness. It
but
goes
don't
up.
but what happens is, like, the area that is associated with suffering increases. You get it? You get it, right?
Yeah. So
Because this is
it's
suffering
kind
and
of
they
like
say it was 50-50 or less. So we
that's
seek.
what you had said before. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but the opposite, see the opposite also. If you try to investigate what is this suffering and slowly move towards that, doesn't mean you have to look horrible or feel horrible or anything. You are just investigating it, trying to see what it is. Then, if you slowly like move towards it and see, check on it, what area actually increases, the happiness increases. You get it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the poles. There's this great book called Divayo on
Exactly.
The Kabbalion from Hermes Trismegistus, Hermetic philosophy from ancient Egypt, and it talks about the polarity. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If there's negativity, there's on the opposite pole, there's the same amount of positivity. And there are people
Mm-hmm.
that are very intense. So people that feel incredible amounts of pain feel an incredible amount of pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to find the balance, come
Mm.
to the center, not go to the extremes
Oh,
because you don't want to
if
get to the
if you
happiness.
increase it, try to investigate, for example, like this in religions what you talk, usually the English word is in bit of like people don't like to how to say, it's not palatable, no, like it's
Yeah.
like a pill hard to swallow. Yeah. So
Right.
in those days they just use like two letters and say dukkha. Dukkha means like
Dukkha.
yeah, the suffering word, but in ancient terminology, which was like used as a universal truth. Not like, oh my gosh, I'm having this, I have these pains, my finances are down. No, in a big, big stage. It's not for us only. Every being.
Yeah.
In a broad way. So those are glimpses of things we have, that is true. But this is in a broad spectrum. So if you try to investigate, it's like checking, like if you are afraid of the dark, you go and check like what is in the dark, right? Likewise,
Yeah.
we don't try to touch, we try to run away from suffering or pain or anything. But if you move the lever downwards or the bar downwards, actually the happiness range increases. That area increases. But if you are like pursuing happiness, the other part of suffering actually increases. So we can reach it.
Exactly.
Uh,
It increases.
yeah, increases. We can increase the either the suffering part or the happiness part.
And the happiness.
Sorry.
So I feel that happiness is something that can just be taken away from us in an instant.
Yeah, there's like a sensual form or perception. No, sorry. Yeah, sensual happiness or something related to sensations. And that happiness, it's sometimes mentioned as a droplet of water falling onto the surface and making a bubble.
Hmm.
But the bubble quickly bursts. There'll be another
Yeah.
droplet falling, but still it bursts. Even if
Right.
there's a consistent flow, but uh, droplet after droplet, it makes a bubble of water and it bursts away very quickly. So we don't say like there are no pleasures or nice things to see, listen. Yeah, it's not like that. There are, but it's so temporary. So that's why it can be taken away so fast, like in a
Yeah.
fraction of the mind. But that's why we are trying to grow and establish ourselves to more stronger happinesses. Like if you take the example of the glass, if you like let the glass water settle down, it's more stable. And if you let it stay, say it solidifies and become ice, it's more solid, more stable, right? But yet it can
Yeah.
dissolve. But if you use that as the base and you do something more higher, uh, or the opposite you can do, like if you remove the causes that melts the ice, the heat factor or something in the environment or something or that brings the heat, it can stay
Yeah.
in that solidified cool stage, right?
Hmm.
Uh, So likewise, our minds also we can take to a stage. These are called defilements that really bring the pain and the sorrow and all these things. If we can remove those, we can be in happiness forever, even, which is a
That's
fact.
beautiful. I love that. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean that's we covered a lot of topics. I hope that our followers and our spectators and our audience was able to grasp and get little diamonds from what we said, and they can apply it to their life. So thank you so much, Sanji. This has
Yeah.
been amazing. This is our first episode, and
Yeah.
this is going to be the first of many. So all the best.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Pleasure to always talk with you, buddy.
Okay.
And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, the Golden Lotus Podcast. So thank you. All the best.
Okay.
Namaste.
Namaste.
God bless. Take care,
Thank
my
you.
friend, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast. All right, guys. Take care.
Okay. Thank you so much.